Colnbrook came to a standstill on Friday as a royal guest drove into town. Crowds of flag-waving well-wishers lined the high street, hoping to catch a glimpse of Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Her Royal Highness was visiting to unveil a new diamond jubilee clock. It sits just yards from the site of Colnbrook's former historical clock, which stood until the 1930s and marked the coronation of Edward VII. The Duchess popped into the Ostrich pub to see the original clock at first hand, before chatting with the hundreds of children and villagers who had come to see her. A steel band provided the live soundtrack, and in-tune schoolchildren performed their specially prepared songs. It was then back to the pub, where she learnt about the village's history at an exhibition at the George. Technical hitches meant the unveiling didn't go exactly as planned, but a bit of clever improvisation meant the crowd did catch their first glimpse of the spectacular new clock. We spoke to the chairman of Colnbrook with Poyle Parish Council, Peter Hood.
We have a long history of clocks in Colnbrook. It's 75 years since we've had a working clock in Colnbrook. Today, at last, we've got one back in the centre of our conservation area. Well, in 1903, almost to the day, the coronation clock celebrating King Edward VII's coronation was erected in the building just opposite where the new clock is. It ticked away there for about 30 years. The building was then demolished. The clock was lost for about 40 years. It was rediscovered in a rusty state just before the Queen's Silver Jubilee. A committee decided that they would renovate it and try and get it erected somewhere in the village. They were able to get it renovated, but they couldn't find anywhere to mount it. And ever since then, the village has been looking for somewhere to mount the clock. The parish council decided there wasn't a tall enough building to put it in, and so we'd buy a new one. And that project started in 2006, but last year we had a real effort to make it a Jubilee clock, and well, we've succeeded with lots of sponsorship, to whom we're very grateful. And yes, and we're fortunate to have the Duchess here to unveil it. I think it means a lot. I think that the event was quite something. We've got lots of people out in the high street today. I would guess there's probably maybe 1,500 people here today, and it was a super event. Really, really was.
This is Steve Scott for The Advertiser.
Oh,